cook a chicken, no seasoning.
Chill.
He be dabbing for no reason.
Chill.
This is me and my white friend.
You know what it is, man.
He ain't white, he just light skinned.
It's us.
He sent the pics when we ballin'.
Reggie Regg.
Come around, he gon' do the talk.
Marv.
No stalling in his credit score, awesome.
And his credit score is pretty good. Yeah.
Me and my white friend.
Come on.
Me and my white friend.
Chill.
Me and my white friend.
Chill.
Me and my white friend.
Chill. What up, what up, what up, what up, what up, world? It's Reggie Regg.
And I'm your white friend Marv.
Hey, okay.
Hey, I'm
Reggie and Marv. Me and my white friend.
Hey,
Reggie and Marv. Hey, me and my white friend. Reggie and Marv. Me and my white friend. Reggie and Marv. Yeah, chicken, no seasoning. Oh, chicken.
Chicken, no seasoning.
Chicken, no seasoning. Okay, that's enough. We did a freestyle for the people. All right, let's get to the matter here. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in today. Thank you so much. It's me and my white friend. I'm Reggie Regg. This is Marv.
Hey, what's going on, everybody?
Yeah, appreciate y'all tuning in.
How are you?
Yeah, as you can tell, we got a very interesting subject today. Very, very interesting subject.
Oh,
today.
do we?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, what is it?
Don't ask me that question like you don't know what the subject matter is. All right.
I know what it is because we've discussed this.
Yeah, we discussed it. Well, we started to discuss it. We started getting into it, and then we were like, you know what? Let's save it for the podcast. We want to give it to the people raw. You know what I'm saying? We ain't strapping on for this when we give it to you.
Hold on. Are we talking about?
We talking about your people.
My people.
We talking about y'all.
What are you talking about?
Where did the white man come from?
Where did the white man come from?
The white man. Your people, the Anglo-Saxon. What kind of question is that, right?
Where did the white man come from?
Some people like, what the fuck?
You know.
But look, some of y'all say, well, what the hell is he talking about? Where the fuck did the black man come from? Well, we're going to answer that question too.
Okay, we're going to answer all these questions.
Well, this is the thing, because
there's lots of theories.
There's a lot of theories. There's a lot of just about the human race. Like, where did we all come from?
So if you're going to ask that question, then we gotta touch on.
We're gonna touch on there. Yeah. So I think we're
theory.
Yeah, we're gonna. This is what we're about to combine. What we're about to talk about is a little bit of, because we all, people. We got your religions. You got your Adam and Eve. Right. You got you got your Darwin theory,
evolution theory.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? You got just a lot of different things.
This is for another podcast, but you got your
alien theory.
I'm sorry.
Well, we touched on that a little bit.
Yeah, we did, but the shapeshifter, the shape.
Oh, the reptilians.
The reptilians.
Yeah, the reptilians.
The reptilian shift shapers.
Aliens coming and starting human race, or giving us technology where we we got all that. When we kind of touched on that in our
previous
where the aliens come from, or do you believe in aliens? We touched on that.
But
so we haven't listened to that one.
The amphibian people we have not touched on, which we need to.
So we're specifically talking about the white man, because it kind of it started on it. We were talking about everything that's going on in America, of course, like racism, of course.
There's a lot of heavy stuff going on.
Right. And why it even exists. And I have my firm belief on why it exists. I feel like I have a solid knowledge of why it exists, and that's why we kind of got in. We kind of talked about it, and I was just talking about people having sex and interbreeding, and saying, and how the skin color changes, and things like that, and we were getting into it. And then, so as two people from different backgrounds, of course I have a different mindset as a black man on where I come from, my people come from, where the human race come from, and I have my views and thoughts on it. And then me talking about open up to Marv, it's new information. Like, a lot of this I want to know. First of all, you growing up, what were you brought up on? Because you're Catholic, right?
Right. So I was brought up in the Catholic Church, and in the Bible we were taught Adam and Eve.
Right.
You know,
and in your mind, you always saw Adam and Eve as white,
and I saw Jesus as white.
Right.
I mean, I was going to the church or you know, growing up, just the facts. I saw pictures of Jesus, and he was a white guy with a beard.
Me too. I saw Jesus as a white guy, blind eyes.
Right. Adam and
blonde
Eve.
hair, blue eyes.
Adam and Eve, also pictures of them, white.
Right.
With the snake coming down, and Eve taking the apple
from the snake.
Right. And if she hadn't have done that, then we would have lived a perfect 100% sin-free life.
Right. Garden of Eden.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. Now, as far as I'm going to throw you for a loop here. As far as knowing genealogy and knowing, where my roots come from, no clue.
Yeah.
I know that, my grandmother on my dad's side, she was a little German, and I know that I'm a little Irish, and but breaking down those percentages, I've never done that.
Right.
So I don't know
where
I come from.
Same here. I don't know exactly. I know, as far as like great grandparents, and that's something that we actually been doing research with like here recently. But like far as like, DNA testing, my cousin did it, but I don't know specifically myself as well.
Now I might be mistaken, but I don't want to speak for everybody that is Mormon, but my wife grew up Mormon, and her aunt and uncle are Mormon, and so they have books of genealogy for themselves, of the breakdown of percentages and where they came from and who is their
awesome.
Who is their great grandmother and grandfather, and that's so awesome. I know that they do that, and I think that the Mormon Church, when Ashley and I did visit Utah, the Salt Lake City, that's where the main church is, that they had a whole section where you could go in there and look up your family genealogy.
That's awesome. Yeah.
So I want to do that. That is on my list to do. I just haven't done it. So when you ask me where the white man came from, I grew up on the Bible just because I grew up in the Catholic Church.
Right. Well, no. You asked me. Now we get into it.
Okay, hold on.
You asked me where the white man came from, remember? Because I was talking about where the black man came from, and we've always been here.
Yes. Yeah. And then I was like, well, hold on. Where did the white man come from?
Yeah, and then that's what we was...
Right.
Okay, so, now I remember. Right. Yeah, I was like, whoa, I know I didn't ask you. You asked me. That's how it. I was like, what was the conversation?
Right.
And I was just talking about, history of people of color.
Because you put me onto this documentary called Hidden Colors.
Yeah, Hidden Colors was one thing. Right. Hidden Colors was one thing. And then I was getting into, we were talking about tanning, and we were talking about people having sex, mixed babies, and then get sunburnt and shit like that. That's what we were talking about.
Right.
And so we were talking about, which leads to, I brought a little tool today, and we got to give that to, I got to give Trav his credit, because this is his book. So I can't, how he is.
Right.
I can't get no shine. He couldn't be with us, but this book, The Science, the Myth of Melanin, Dispelling the Rumors of Exposing the Facts. So, and it's by, the author is T. Owen Moore, PhD. I'm gonna show it to the camera. If you're just listening, Google that or check it out. Check us out on YouTube, and you'll be able to go find that book. Very, very, very good book. But
so melanin,
yeah. So right now, if I don't know if you hit Black Twitter and IG, and right now it's a big thing, like melanin popping. My melanin's popping.
Right. Got melanin.
I got melanin.
Right.
Yeah.
I've seen all that. Yeah.
And so it's like, to me, it's beautiful. Because I see, black people embracing melanin. Because I was talking about years back, and then it wasn't a thing yet. You know what I'm saying? So me to see, I could tell that just the planet in general is on a different frequency, because it's becoming cool, right, to be knowing about what melanin is. And then for me to be able to have an open discussion with you about shit like this, and then some of the things we're going to show, more in this podcast, it's like it's becoming just more common knowledge, which I think will heal a lot of wounds in the world in general. right? Conversations like this will kind of expose a lot of things, will give a better understanding of us in general, right? But melanin, melanin is the the chemical in your body that makes people dark. People gives you color.
So that's the science.
The science behind it. Yeah.
Okay.
If we get straight to the science, when you saw people of color, what gives you color, the more melanin you have in your body, the more color you have, right? And then some people are like, well, is melanin? Well, melanin is carbon. Well, that's true. Carbon is a part of melanin, right? It's in melanin, and carbon is what makes melanin black, right? That color. But it's not necessarily. Melanin is not just carbon, right? Like melanin is like melanin is a compound
of different
many things.
Sure.
Really. Melanosomes. We practiced the word a couple. Melanosomes. It's made up of melanosomes and melanocytes and stuff. Yeah.
Melanosomes.
And so
what melanosomes?
Melanosomes. But that is what and see melanin. Without going too deep, melanin is what a lot of people say is the dark matter that holds the whole universe together. You know what I'm saying? So it's in everything. It's in grass. It's in a lot of animals.
I haven't heard that before. The universe.
Yeah, if you Google melanin, it says a dark brown to black pigment occurring in the hair, skin, and iris of eye in people and animals. It is responsible for tanning of skin exposed to sunlight. You know what I mean? So if you look at a lot of the shit that's tanning, when you put on your suntan,
right,
it contains melanin.
So that means that maybe someone in your family or in a black family, someone is albino. That means that they lack melanin.
Right, correct.
That appear, their skin and their hair appear. I mean, we see it as not dark, or white, or blonde.
Exactly. You're exactly
blonde,
right.
I think it's white.
You're exactly right. So
straight white. Yeah,
speaking of, so you said albino. My one of my friends, one of my close college friends, she said something real. Cause she was talking about, well, no, actually not one of our friends. Boss Lady said it. Boss Lady, our musical artist,
right?
Yeah, Boss Lady's gonna be in season 2.
Yeah,
her grandmother once was albino, right? And she was like, her grandmother used to tell her like, albino is a race. I don't care what nobody say, because like she was like, her grandmother was albino and produced like so many different color grandchildren and stuff, and it was just like unique, what I mean?
Right.
And so she stands firm on that, but to get into it, like let's get into some of the theories. So what we're gonna get to, so you got Adam and Eve. I grew up the same way, what I'm saying? Baptist church, black Baptist church. We same thing, Adam and Eve, and then from that, they got kicked out the Garden of Eden, and from there, so and so beget so and so beget so and so beget so and so, and then and then slavery, and then we're here. You know what I'm saying? That's basically what I got. You know what I mean? And so once I for me, college is really early college is when I started kind of getting into like other stuff and reading books.
I think we talked about
we talked about that. The book that really opened Miseducation of the Negro by Carter G. Woodson was really that changed my life. The Miseducation of the Negro by Carter G. Woodson.
And what's that about?
The miseducation of black people in America, and he wrote this.
What kind of what does he touch on?
He touches on everything. White Jesus, the education system, telling us we're from slavery, when actuality, we've been here, always been here. From what the stuff that we're gonna kind of show here, been here was the first here, just because of how human race was, developed by the equator. Our oldest fossils come from the equator, and they said that the people of color were here, traveled the world many times, and then so the question is, okay, if we're going from those facts, well, where did white men come from, right? So
it's funny that you said, because this just popped up in my head
Mm-hmm.
is that do you remember Bill Nye, the Science Guy?
Yes, I love Bill Nye, the Science Guy. Can we give Bill Nye, the Science Guy,
Let me just swat your hand. You're about to press on. Hold on.
I'm about to give Bill Nye a round of applause. That was my guy.
Yeah. No, I got you right. Hold on. Here we go.
Yeah, of course I remember Bill Nye, the Science Guy. I grew up on Bill Nye, the Science Guy. Like,
right.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, I came across a clip.
He's still doing his thing on TikTok.
He's still doing his thing, yeah.
Yeah, I'll be seeing him.
And so I came across this, and I wanted to share it with you. And this is Bill Nye, the Science Guy's explanation of why racism doesn't make any sense.
Well, I think I seen that.
So remember in the beginning, he had those charts.
Yeah,
and he had those charts of the whole world and all the continents, and they had different colored layers. Like, so in the middle, where the equator, you had red.
Yeah, it was
red,
real high.
Orange,
Yeah,
red hot. And then as you went north or south, it got into your
cooler,
your yellows and the greens and the blues and the cooler. Right. And so he said, okay, we'll take that and put in two colors.
Right.
Okay. So again, another map he showed, which is
same map, actually. Same map. Just saw
different colors.
The first map you saw ultraviolet waves. And the second map
brown.
He made it just brown as far as people of color, and
brown.
Then it was the same evolution, baby.
So basically second map, the brown map was very dark in the center, and then as you went north or south, it got lighter.
Right,
so here's what he had to say.
Okay.
Here he is.
And it turns out that everybody on Earth is descended from people that live here in Africa. And then as groups of us moved around the world, the color of our skin had to change. And here's why. Our skin is where we make vitamin D. If you don't get enough ultraviolet, you don't get enough vitamin D. But if you get too much ultraviolet, then you break down your folates. You have to have it in perfect balance. And because the ultraviolet varies, the color of our skin varies. And that's it, everybody. That's why we have different colored skin. But we're all one species. But we're not treating each other fairly. Not everybody's getting an even shake. So it's time to change things.
So there you go. That's facts.
Yeah, that's facts. So
straight from Bill Nye.
If Bill Nye, and this goes into, okay, I got two theories of where the white man. And again, and the reason why we're saying theories here, because I am a firm believer that a wise man knows he knows nothing. None of us were alive at that time.
Right.
I'm just going off.
I didn't see it.
Right. I didn't see it. I don't know. I'm just going what makes sense to me off the research and the books and the stuff that I read and science. And like, you can even put that in with evolution. I mean, Adam and Eve, if you want to. If you're a religious person, okay, well, you could say if it was Adam and Eve and those two people, they were just people of color and they breeded and migrated out, and the kids migrated out. And then if we know that, Disney and everybody makes movies on the Ice Age, and everybody loves that. But okay, motherfucker, then the Ice Age really happened. So there is a chance that some people were caught in the Ice Age and went through thousands of years. You know what I mean? We don't know what human mutations people have went through the evolution.
Because you're talking thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands
millions
of years.
Eons. We don't know how long the Earth been here. We don't know how long the universe been here.
We know it's been a pretty long time, like billion years.
Yeah.
Plus.
So, yeah. A lot can happen in that time period.
Right.
A lot of, you know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
We've seen a lot of animals come to be and then become extinct, you know what I mean, during that time period. So it's like, but, getting to, the theories.
And that's, that goes in or plays into the evolution theory.
That goes into the evolution.
Guess what? If you migrate, you have to evolve.
The body will eventually.
You eventually
adapt to the weather.
Adapt to your surroundings. Animals do it, and if we're like, oh yeah, animals do it, and if we're in agreement that animals do it, we're animals too.
Right. Look, I've seen it in my own lifetime.
So
I played football, right, in high school and middle school and stuff. So during the summertime, I don't sunburn. I get darker, right? So when I would play football in high school, I was like, I could go back to some of my high school pictures, and I was a lot dark because the whole summertime we training, so I'm getting that sun. I stayed a real chocolate, like a real solid chocolate. You know what I'm saying? But you know where we live, where we come from in North Carolina, you have all 4 seasons. You know what I'm saying? So when the wintertime came, I would lighten up now. Like some people like, what, you lighten up now? You black as hell now? Like, yes, I am, but I could be darker. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? But you know, so I can see my own skin adapt now. So I can only imagine if what happens if I was in some cold climate after a while. You know what I mean? Like you never know after millions of years. But you know, to jump back on where did the white man come from? So boom, we got that. That can go into evolution, everything. One that is interesting, we got to throw out there, right? This is more of one of those, you know what I'm saying? This is one of those. Yeah. Hold on. This is one of those. So one of the guys that I listened to, I used to listen to this guy like probably like 6-7 years back, a while back. You know, he's a guy. He's a lecturer. If you look him up on YouTube, Taj Tariq Bey. This guy, you know, he's a more whatnot, and his theory, he brought up the troglodyte. Have you heard of that, Marv?
Say it again.
Troglodyte. Troglodyte.
All right. Go ahead.
Have you ever heard of that?
I'm sure I've heard of it somewhere along my college
days.
career. Or,
Well, so. If you Google it, troglodyte is a person who lived in a cave.
Okay.
Yeah, if you go down a hermit, a person who regarded as deliberately.
Yes. Okay. Now it's coming back to me. Yes,
we kind of discussed it a little bit. We went over it a little bit.
Now you said K. Yes. K came back. Yeah.
And so when we talk about this is Taj Tariq Bey. Now this is not Reggie Regg, and we're just speaking on what the man said, but he spoke on what was going on. What he speaks on that the people of color, right, and the ones who really advanced culture. Right, and had the sciences and built towns and communities and was doing alchemy. And we to speak of alchemy, that's just science, right? What we're talking about, carbon and all that.
Chemistry.
So they were getting to breeding people, right? And like, they were talking about like there was a time America was called like a Mexum and it's real close to Mexico. And, of course, if that breeding, you can see how we got Indians and the red man and Orientals breeding with Africans. You can see how the races may have come together.
Right.
And he spoke about not albinos, but humans breeding with the troglodyte, doing things with the troglodyte, right?
Okay.
And it going to where they were coming out very pale, like they would be more hairy, right? And when they shaved it, they were very, very, very pale beings. So what they did was took them to like north, right?
Took them to a barbershop? Oh no.
No, it took
Here, my man. Let me help you get cleaned up a little bit.
Let me show you some of this shit. You coming out a little bit more hairy than normal, So let me show you some shit. So they said because they wouldn't survive close to the equator, right, in the southern lands, they took them up to like Anglo land, right, which may be known now as England, right, higher up in the north and where not as much sun exposure is there, right?
Exactly.
And that's where those cultures begin to come together, and so that's what he said. He come from China. And then, what's funny to me, like once he said that, he would say shit like, yeah, and then they make a joke out of it now. Like you see it in commercials, so easy a caveman can do it. Like, you guys know, like, yeah, we like the higher ups, like, oh, we know where we came from, but look what we do now. You know what I mean? Like, but they hide the history. So I don't know. I'm just saying if you're more interested in look it up, Taj Tariq Bey, but I got Bill Nye the Science Guy, kind of broke it down real easy, like no matter what you say, there's nothing new under the sun. That's something my mom used to say all the time, you know what I'm saying? So, no matter what, there's always been kind of mixtures, as we have evolved, especially since, and now, at least in our lifetime, ain't nothing new. We ain't really seeing no new shit, right? There's nothing we can do. You know what I mean? There's according to this book, there's only so many pigmentations as far as black, white, red, yellow, and they were like brown. Other than that, that's it. You mixing.
Just like on a piano, there's so many chords you can use.
Right.
You know,
yeah.
or just like on the instrument, there's so many there are so many notes.
Right.
You know?
Right.
So I mean,
whether you believe the white man came from a white Adam and Eve, whether you believe the white man came from evolution, whether you believe the white man was here first, whether you believe whatever you believe, it don't matter. We are all a part, like Bill Nye say, the human race.
we know where the white man came from. There ain't no thinking about it.
No, this is what I'm talking about.
No,
I'm trying
there
to
ain't
be.
no thing.
Marv, I'm trying
Bill
to.
Nye just said
I'm,
we all came from Africa. So there it is. We all came from Africa.
let them know, Marv.
That's it.
Let them know. Hey, Marv, but listen, you know there's some. I don't give a damn what that dude says up there. And it's like, look, listen. This is what I'm trying to get to the people. Why we did the show,
Right? Because racism is all about. You've said it.
Right? Okay, we want to get the racism
In our private talks.
Knowing this is very simple
starts
for
with a
me.
G.
Yeah, if we break it down, if we go over this, because this isn't a racism episode.
No,
but it does. It will help you if you understand this, right? If you understand where evolution, if you understand where
you can understand how silly racism is.
How silly racism is, and why if there are a few people, and you know, I was trying to keep it cool because we just seen our man Nick Cannon get fired for know what I'm saying. You know, esoteric was it comments? Anti-Semitic comments. Then
let me tell you people first. Okay, if you're new to us, if this is your first time joining us, first of all, thank you so much.
Thank you.
And then second of all, our show is about bringing people together through comedy and music.
Right.
That's what we do.
Right.
So,
but we talk about everything. This is shit we talk about off the mic, and we gonna bring it on the mic. And a lot of times, I ain't never seen no black and white.
But what I'm saying is that we're not gonna say, we're not gonna talk down to any group of people because that's not what we're about.
No.
Okay, so it's not anybody. So it's not the Jews' fault. It's not the blacks' fault. It's not the whites' fault. You know what I'm saying? It's just.
It's if I were to break it down, do what you can do as an individual, right?
Right.
No matter what nobody mind said, if you're dealing with somebody and they're a good person and they giving you good energy, that's how you deal with that person. If they're ignorant and you can tell they're ignorant and that's how they operate, then you don't need to deal with them. You know what I'm saying? Simple as that. Like that's what it come down to. You know what I mean? Like. But if we talk about like what is racism and the whole systematic system and everything, to me knowing the history of where the race is and the human race and how the human race has evolved to what it is today, that to me there's a small percentage of people who are afraid of becoming extinct because of after breeding melanin is going to show through, right? And if there's people who keep our race pure, that's what it's going to be. If that's what it's going to always be, it might always be that because we're here on Earth. This is yin and yang. They've always our ancestors and people that societies and cultures that came before us. They give us signs. This is heaven and hell at the same time, depending on how you want to live. So it's that's something that we may not ever be able to fix. Like they always say, it's a religion where it may be something that we're here to learn and become and come over eternally in your own world. You know what I mean? Yeah,
but we should learn from each other,
right?
And accept more things than we do. Try to understand more things than we do.
Understanding, yeah.
Ask more questions than we do.
Yeah. I mean,
that's what we need to do.
We're in the digital age. A lot of information that we used to didn't have access to, we do. Mm-hmm. Now you do have to decipher through the bullshit. You know what I mean? You do have to sit back and find more than one source. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But I think we're getting to a place. You know what I mean? Like if everything works in the frequency, if you feel like we're in a low, we're gonna come up regardless. So,
right. But the whole point is not to go back down.
I agree.
Like when you go up, stay up.
Marv, all we can do is do our part.
I mean,
all we can do, me and my wife friend, all we can do is do our part. Eh?
I know.
Hey,
we're doing it.
Hey, well, shit.
We're doing it. We're doing our part.
What we want you to do, our part is making you guys laugh and bring you guys cool, independent artists. So if you haven't seen season 1, go check out season 1 right now on YouTube, Facebook, and it's on our website, www.meandmywifefriend.com. If you know artists that could be on our season 2 or 3, email us at info@meandmywifefriend.com. That's info@meandmywifefriend.com. Go follow us on Instagram, TikTok,
Facebook, YouTube especially. Please go subscribe.
Yeah, we need that
like
YouTube.
Get
us up on YouTube. Go watch the podcast on YouTube if you're listening.
Love it.
Yeah.